Hello, Year 2, how are you? And welcome to today's history lesson. Now, over the last half term, we have been looking at Florence Nightingale, who went to the Crimean War to help the wounded soldiers. Now, before we move on to our next English unit, I wanted to have a look at another influential person called Mary Seacole, and you can see a picture of her in the corner of our screen now. In today's lesson, we are going to be looking at who Mary Seacole was. But instead of me giving you all of the information about Mary Seacole, we are going to be looking at some sources. Now, can you remember what a source is? Yes, that's right. A source is a piece of evidence. So we are going to be looking at some different sources of Mary Seacole and trying to work out some facts, some information about her. Who was Mary Seacole? So by the end of the lesson, you'll be able to tell me some facts about Mary Seacole, and you'll also be able to tell me what made her famous. Now, before we start looking at Mary Seacole, I would like to see what you can remember about Florence Nightingale and how she is remembered today. So here is your retrieval question. We are going to create a mind map, okay, about how Florence Nightingale is remembered today. Now, I'm going to give you the first idea for your mind map, and then I'd like you to pause the video and fill in some other ways in which Florence Nightingale is remembered today. So the first way in which she is remembered is by International Nurses Day, which is celebrated on the 12th of May. Now, can you remember why it's celebrated on the 12th of May? Yes, that's right. It's because it's Florence Nightingale's birthday. So therefore, every year on her birthday on the 12th of May, we celebrate International Nurses Day and we remember everything that Florence Nightingale did. So now I'd like to pause the video and have a think of some other ways in which Florence Nightingale is remembered today. Okay, Year 2, so let's have a look at some other ways in which Florence Nightingale is remembered together. So here we have her book, Notes on Nursing. Now, her book was written in 1859 and it included information, it included advice on hospital cleanliness, on food in hospitals, on how hospitals should be run, and on beds in hospitals, for example. And this book is still used today, so still people read this book to get advice about these different things. So therefore, she is still remembered today by her book. Now, another way that she is remembered is by her training school. Remember, she set up a training school in 1860 called the Nightingale Training School for Nurses. And this was in London at St. Thomas's Hospital. Now, the training school was to train nurses about what she had learnt during the Crimean War. And this training school is still open today, isn't it? So therefore, she is remembered today still by her training school, which is still there. Now, another way that she is remembered is by her wards. Okay, can you remember what these wards are called? Yes, they're called Nightingale wards, aren't they? These are the wards that she designed. Remember, they're long, they have beds going up either side, there's lots of room between the beds, it's very clean, and the windows are open so that the air can get through. Okay, in hospitals today, lots of hospitals still have Nightingale wards. Now, another way, the last way that I thought of, in which Florence Nightingale is remembered today, is by the £10 note. Remember, Florence Nightingale was on the £10 note until 1992, wasn't she? So there we go. Here are lots of ways in which Florence Nightingale is remembered today, and you might have thought of some others as well. Well, now we're going to move on to Mary Seacole and see how she is remembered today. So these are some ways in which Mary Seacole is remembered today. The first way is by her statue. Can you see the statue on the screen? Well, that is of Mary Seacole, and you can find this statue in London, near the River Thames. Now, this statue hasn't been around for very long. It was built in 2016, which is one of the ways in which Mary Seacole is remembered. Now, next we have some stamps. Now, these stamps are of the most iconic, the most influential people, okay? But what do we think this has to do with Mary Seacole? Well, she's on one of these stamps. Can you see her? Well, yes. There she is. So therefore, she is remembered by her stamp. She is seen as one of the most iconic, one of the most influential people. Now, lastly on this page, we have a £50 note. Now, can you remember a couple of years ago, we had the new £5 note and the new £10 note? Well, there is going to be a new £50 note. And Mary Seacole was one of the choices for the £50 note. and therefore her work is still being recognised today. Her work is still being remembered today, and people want to see her on this £50 note. And can you see the newspaper article that says plastic £50 note could feature Rosalind Franklin or Mary Seacole? So there we go. Here are some of the ways in which Mary Seacole is remembered today, by her statue, by her stamp, and she's even one of the choices for the £50 note. People think that she's so influential that they want to see her on this £50 note. Now here we have a newspaper article, and it says Mary Seacole voted greatest Black Briton. Okay, so this newspaper had a vote, okay, on the greatest Black Briton, and Mary Seacole was voted as this, okay, so therefore she must be very influential. But I wonder why she is influential. What did she do that has made her the greatest Black Briton? What has made people vote for her as this? Well, shall we find out? Shall we have a look at a source to see if we can work it out? So here we have a source with Mary Seacole on it. Now I have circled some features on the source. I've circled 4 different features because I want to look at those and not look at other things, because these are the things that are going to tell us what Mary Seacole has done to make her remembered. Now you'll find this source on your resource, Year 2 History, 24th of February, Resource 1. And what I'd like you to do is have a look at the different things that I've circled and have a think about what clues they give us about what Mary Seacole has done to make her remembered. Okay, so pause the video now and have a look at the sources. Okay, Year 2, have you managed to look at the source and try and work out from the source what Mary Seacole might have done to make her remembered? Fantastic, well done. So let's go through the different things that are circled together now. So the first thing that is circled is in red. Okay, now this is a picture of something, and I can see some people on the floor. What might this be of? Well, this is of a war, okay? It's of a battlefield, because Mary Seacole went to a place where there was a war and helped the soldiers. Now, we know another person that did that, don't we? We know Florence Nightingale also went to a place where there was a war and helped the soldiers. So therefore, there's a similarity between Florence Nightingale and Mary Seacole. Okay, so she went to help them. She went to nurse them. And she learnt many nursing skills from her mother, who ran a boarding house for wounded soldiers. So her mother had a house where she looked after wounded soldiers. So Mary Seacole learnt lots of her skills from her mother. Now, what else can we see on this source? Well, let's have a look at what's circled in yellow. Now, what is she wearing on her dress? Well, they look like medals, don't they? I wonder why she got these medals. Well, she got these medals because she was brave, and she was given 4 medals, okay? Remember, Florence Nightingale was given some medals as well, wasn't she? And the same for Mary Seacole. So there's another similarity between Florence Nightingale and Mary Seacole. They both won medals for their work. So far we know that she went to a place where there was a war and helped the soldiers. And she was brave and was given 4 medals. Now, let's have a look at the green circle. Now, what is in the green circle? Well, it looks like there's a bowl and she's holding something, isn't she? Well, maybe she's holding a spoon. Maybe it's got food inside it. Well, let's have a look. Well, she made healthy food to help the soldiers get better, okay? So she helped the soldiers when she went to the place where there was a war to get better by giving them healthy food. Okay, so she probably learnt some of this from her mother at her house for wounded soldiers. But yes, that's the same as Florence Nightingale, isn't it? Florence Nightingale also recognised that soldiers needed good food in order to get better. So there's 3 similarities between the 2 women. Now let's have a look at the last thing that's circled. We have something circled in blue. Now it looks like there's some bottles there, doesn't it? I wonder what the bottles have in them. Well, the bottles have medicines in them, okay? Because Mary Seacole made medicines to help treat the soldiers, okay? So she mixed plants together to make what's called a herbal medicine. So it has herbs in it, it has plants in it, to help the wounded soldiers, as other medicines during this time, they weren't really available, okay? So she had to make her own medicines using mixed plants. And some of the ingredients that she used included a thing called lemongrass. She had aloe vera in her medicines, she had ginger, and she had lemons in her medicine, okay? So she actually made medicine to help the soldiers get better, to treat the soldiers, as well as giving them healthy food and helping them during the war. So there we go. Were you able to spot what was circled in the source and work out what it might tell us about what Mary Seacole has done to make her remembered? Fantastic. Well done. So